Hey, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Chris Maloney back with you for another edition of CWN Weekly, episode number 24. Today is Friday, January the 29th, 2021. Coming to you from London, Ontario, Canada, where it is cold and snowy outside. If I had the blinds open behind me, you'd see all the snow that was taking place, but we got dumped on last night. It's been not pouring, but coming down heavy today at times. But it's nice to see winter is actually in effect here in London, Ontario. So, hence the sweaters and the jackets and the toques and everything else up here in Canada. But it is January 29th, like I said. So it is pure winter going on up here. If you're listening on audio, thank you very much. Feel free to hit the like or subscribe button. If you're watching us live or post, you can feel free to do the same thing, YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, all that sort of jazz. But I appreciate it. If first-time listener, again, like I said, my name is Chris Maloney, a longtime fan of pro wrestling, mixed martial arts as well, Canadian independent wrestling as well. And like I said, London, Ontario, Canada here. But as we do always every week, birthdays, anniversaries of the week. So on the 2nd, which I believe is Tuesday, the one and only Greg Oliver, 1971, he was born. He's going to be 50 years old. That's insane. Makes me feel up there in age as well. So happy 50th birthday to the one and only Greg Oliver, who, of course, is affiliated with Slam Wrestling. Multiple books he's put out and published, including his latest one with regards to Billy Van from hilarious House of Frightenstein. Grew up on that when I was a kid. Greg Oliver celebrating his 50th birthday this coming Tuesday. I've had the honor to talk to him every now and then, but if you look behind me there, right next to Bret Hart, you'll see the storytellers. Omega giving the V-trigger to Chris Jericho there. And basically, I got to meet him a couple summers ago. He autographed the book for me. Pleasure as far as, just in and out of the business goes, but a very smart guy there. And 50th birthday. Not sure about his taste in football. Go Pats. He is a Browns fan, but like I said, happy 50th birthday to the one and only Greg Oliver there of Slam Wrestling. You check that out, slamwrestling.net. As well, Teddy Hart turning 41 years old. Not exactly sure where he's at nowadays, but he is, proud Canadian, so to speak, part of the Hart family there in Calgary. But he is turning 41 years old on the same date, so the 2nd as well. And on the 4th, Whipper Billy Watson passed away in 1990 at the age of 74. He was born in East York, Ontario. Not too familiar, honestly, with Whipper Billy Watson, other than the fact I've had coworkers as well as older wrestling fans that have been around who just like saying that name, Whipper Billy Watson. But the fact is, when it comes down to it, Canadian legend. And like I said, he passed away on the 4th at the age of 74 in 1990. And like I said, East York, Ontario. So Ontario boy there. Major news of the week. Unfortunately, 2 deaths to report. Number 1 was on the 23rd, so last Saturday. Larry King passes away. WWE sat into Larry King. Larry King passed away at the age of 87. Talk show titan reimagined possibilities in the world of television with his iconic The Larry King Show. Prominent figures from the entertainment, sports, and political worlds graced this show nightly, but King made a special impact on national coverage of wrestling. He goes on to say, they are incredible athletes. Their fan following is amazing, but the results are never in the paper to me. If someone is interesting, then I'm curious. And wrestlers in wrestling are interesting, King once told Sports Illustrated. So WB extends its condolences to King's family and friends. And like I said, he passed away at the age of 87 on last Saturday there. So, sad news there. Did live a long life. And anytime there was anything, as far as I guess hot goes, as far as wrestling topics go, he was involved in wanting to get those guys, on the air, so to speak. I know when Chris Benoit, when everything went down with him, he had a panel, I think, of Steve Blackman as well as Chris Jericho and Bret Hart with him on, that was back in the days when he was on CNN. But he wasn't afraid, basically, to go and to tackle those major moments in wrestling that not a lot of people were cool or kind to talk about, so to speak. But when it comes down to it, Larry King, like I said, the 87 years old, rest in peace there. And then we go into somebody I was totally unfamiliar with, and this was Roderick McMahon, brother of Vince McMahon, passes away. This was reported all over the place, but post-wrestling article here. January the 25th. So Roderick James McMahon, brother of WWE Chairman Vince McMahon, passed away on January 20th. An obituary about Roderick is up on the legacy.com website. Roderick is survived by his following family members: mother Victoria Askew, his wife of 53 years, Janice McMahon, or Jam. It says Jam Miss. I want to say Janice McMahon. His son, his wife, as well as a few others there. But his brother Vincent K. McMahon and wife Linda, and their son Shane and wife Marissa, their sons as well, and obviously Stephanie and Paul. Roderick was a resident of Willis, Texas. Before he passed, he was a member of the U.S. Air Force, and it was in the Air Force he met his future wife, Janice. So it is Janice, Jamice. That's interesting. I've never seen a name like that before. And they founded North American Metals Inc., which is a family business that's still running to this day. So thoughts and prayers are with Vince McMahon's brother there. I guess it would have been last week. Apparently he, I guess this past week, with the 25th, which would have been Sunday. No, Monday. So he wasn't at Raw or SmackDown, apparently with regards to his brother's passing there. But it's interesting because some of the stuff that's come out, he was never part of really the wrestling business. It was one of those things where he was, he could be seen at the Hall of Fames and this and that. But he was supposed to be part, in another Chris Benoit mentioned here, of when everything went down that weekend and Vince McMahon's limousine exploded. They were going to do thoughts and prayers to Vince storyline wise. And apparently his brother was supposed to be on TV as one of those guys who, was going to share his thoughts and prayers, and everything, had gone down with Benoit back in June of that year. And, they scrapped that, and they scrapped the storyline, obviously. But, apparently when, he passed, it was one of those things where all of a sudden it was major news, but he was always kind of behind the scenes, and then they show clips of him in the Hall of Fames and stuff like that. But interesting, he never really wanted to get into the wrestling business, and he had a couple sons of his own. Apparently, never wanted to get into the wrestling business as well. So having the brother who owns the WWE, and he basically just kind of went another route, another avenue, U.S. Air Force, and then obviously the metal industry that he was part of as well. But very interesting, the fact that he never wanted anything to do with wrestling, because obviously his father, I believe, was Vincent Senior. I believe they shared the same dad, but anyways, it's regardless of the fact, thoughts and prayers go to the McMahon family in the passing of Roderick McMahon there. So two passings to talk about there, and rest in peace to both Larry King as well as Roderick McMahon. So news of the week: report AEW moving Revolution pay-per-view to March the 7th. That was official as of this past Wednesday. So if you saw any of the graphics that had taken place, obviously the March 7th date was attached to it. So it's going to be a first, I believe, first ever pay-per-view on a Sunday for AEW there. So we'll have to wait and see, how they play out. But Sunday pay-per-views have existed for like forever, but it had been a thing with UFC, Impact Wrestling, as well as AEW doing Saturday. So it'll be interesting to see how AEW does as far as the Sunday pay-per-view goes. So March the 7th, like I said, AEW Revolution. Big news of the week, and a lot of hype and a lot of PO'd fans on the internet, and I'm not sure why, but Peacock to become the new exclusive home of WWE Network in the U.S. Peacock and WB announced today a multi-year agreement that gives Peacock exclusive streaming rights to WB Network in the U.S. NBC Universal is a long-standing relationship with WB that began nearly 30 years ago. Monday Night Raw in USA, WWE has always tapped into the cultural zeitgeist, I want to say the word is, with spectacular live events and larger-than-life characters, and we are thrilled to be the exclusive home for the WB Network and millions of fans across the country. So a big article there as far as WB.com goes. It says Peacock will launch WB Network on March 18th, beginning the rollout of more than 17,000 hours of new original library WB Network programming on demand and on a 24/7 channel, including all live pay-per-view events, including WrestleMania and SummerSlam. Fastlane will be the first WB pay-per-view to stream on Peacock on Sunday, March the 21st. And then they go on to all the series of shows that we as fans know and love. Apparently in Canada, it's staying the same. So myself, I've got Rogers, and nothing's changing as far as Canada goes. But as far as the States go, if you're subscribed to Peacock already, it's, I guess, $4.99 for the WWE Network. with an ad-based service. So you'll be seeing commercials and ads. If you want to pay $9.99, which is the exact same price they're paying down there right now anyways, it's the same sort of service. So not only do you get WB Network as far as Peacock goes, but you get a lot of other shows as well. So it's kind of a bonus there. I'm not sure why there's a lot of gripe as far as the internet goes, except for the fact that a lot of wrestling fans, myself included at times, don't like change. So that's the only thing I can think about. I mean, if you're subscribed to Peacock already, there's nothing to it. You know what I mean? It's like me as a fan up here in Canada, I have Rogers. So the fact is I pay the extra, I think, $14.99 a month, to get the WWE Network. When it comes straight down to it, if you want to give me the WB Network with commercials for $4.99, I might actually, look into that. But, like I said, $14.99 here in Canada, and I've been paying it pretty much since day one. So not sure what all the hype is about as far as the fans being disgruntled. But the fact is, like I said, it all comes down to change. And I don't think a lot of wrestling fans like change, and myself included, like I said, at times. So WB Fastlane set for March will be the first pay-per-view of the Peacock era, like I had said. So March the 21st is going to be the official date for that. And that'll be the last pay-per-view before WrestleMania there. For gamers, and myself included there, if you look up top, most shows, I always have the Battlegrounds, game up there behind me. But bonus locker code coming this Sunday to WB 2K Battlegrounds. This was announced on the 25th. So the following comes courtesy of the official Twitter account of WB 2K Battlegrounds. Tune into the WB Royal Rumble for a bonus locker code that awards 500 golden bucks in WB 2K Battlegrounds. So if you're watching the Rumble this weekend, and why wouldn't you be, and you are a gamer and do have the game, look for that code. CWN Online, of course, will have the code for you. But again, WB will release that code during the Royal Rumble there. So from there, Friday Night SmackDown scores one of the highest numbers since April. So I don't usually talk about SmackDown or SmackDown results here because we're so late. So obviously SmackDown takes place tonight. So I'm kind of 7 days late in essence, but the main ratings for SmackDown come out on Mondays. So the final ratings for SmackDown come out on Mondays, sometimes Tuesdays, depending on holidays. But I thought this was big. Friday Night SmackDown finished with one of the show's best numbers since last April, finishing with over 2.3 million viewers on Fox. January 22nd edition of the show finished with an average 2.383 million viewers and a 0.63 in the 18 to 49 demo. Compared with the previous week, viewership increased by 5.3%, but the 18 to 49 demo dropped by 7.4% from 0.68. So big news there. They did their best rating going into Royal Rumble at that. And like I said, it's good news for them. And, hopefully they can continue tonight. And hopefully, they have a strong showing going into WrestleMania. Obviously, I mean, like everybody else, I am a WB fan, WB mark, so to speak. I grew up on it. I hate seeing the ratings when they drop, but this looks like it's a good thing, especially with no football taking place on Fox right now. WB to reveal first women's Royal Rumble entrance, 30th men's entrant, and this is on Backstage coming up tomorrow, 8 p.m. on FS1. Just going to see if I can bring up the article here because I found this was interesting. Just let me see if I can find it. Yep, I've got it here. So yeah, interesting for the first time I can believe ever. I mean, obviously, sometimes they have the matches and stuff like that where all of a sudden they'll compete for who draws number 30 or who draws number 1, whatever the case may be. But some information about the 2021 men's and women's Royal Rumble matches will be revealed on WB Backstage's preview special for the pay-per-view. WB has announced that 2 wrestlers who will be kicking off the women's Royal Rumble match as the first and second entrants will be announced on WB Backstage Royal Rumble's preview special. The wrestler who will be entering the men's Royal Rumble match last at number 30 will also be revealed on the special. So that's taking place tomorrow, WB Backstage, FS1, if you can find it here in Canada. It's going to be Renee Paquette, not Renee Young anymore, but Renee Paquette. Booker T and Paige are your hosts for that. Not sure how I feel about them announcing number 30. Obviously, if it's going to be a game changer no matter what. But normally at number 30, you're always looking forward to seeing who's coming out. So if they announce it, prior to, and my guess is going to be somebody like The Miz, so to speak. But I guess we'll have to wait and see. It's going to be interesting too because I won't talk too much about Royal Rumble on the show, obviously because I do the prediction show and then the recap show on Sunday. But the fact is, when it comes down to it, When I talk about Royal Rumble predictions on Sunday, I will have known who number 30 and number 1 and number 2 in the women's are going to be. So that's going to be interesting there. This was big news. And I ended up, I think, going to bed early on Monday. I don't think I caught this until later on, but it was Edge declares his entry into the Royal Rumble match. That was on Raw this past Monday. So when I saw that, read that, watched the hype video, I was like, holy crap, Edge is back. So it's going to be interesting there because obviously last year, 2020, Edge made his re-debut, so to speak, and all of a sudden Edge is back in the Royal Rumble again here, and then Randy Orton's in the Royal Rumble. It would be very cool if Edge goes on to win, but there are 29 other guys, so it's going to be interesting there. But I'll get more into that on Sunday, obviously. Charlotte Flair and Asuka to meet Shayna Baszler, Nia Jax, and WWE Women's Tag Team Title Clash. That was announced this past Monday as well. Bad Bunny to perform live at the Royal Rumble this Sunday. I'm 44 years old, so I'm not too familiar with who Bad Bunny is, other than the fact he sings a Booker T song. I think Booker T's in the video. So I think that is what he'll be performing live on Sunday at the Royal Rumble there. But it'd be interesting. I got two teenage daughters there, so they're all into the TikTok as well as the gimmick, so to speak, as far as the singers go nowadays. So I'm pretty sure if I mention Bad Bunny to them, they'll be able to tell me who it is. I know who Post Malone is, I can tell you that, but Bad Bunny's new to me, so that'll be interesting there. Fourth wave of WWE superstars and legends arrive in WWE 2K Battlegrounds. So some more gaming talk here. So I'm just going to bring up the article here because I thought it was cool who some of the guys are, and I'm surprised that some of them waited until this long. So coming out in between, looks like the 27th through, I don't know if there's an actual finish date, but usually it's within a couple weeks. But anyways, names mentioned here, Christian, Otis China, and then we got Dana Brooke, Tyler Breeze, and Mark Henry. So 2 Canadians in there, Mark Henry, and then China in the game as well. So that's going to be starting on the 27th. Which was actually a couple days ago. It was actually Tyler Breeze is in the game. I know that he's been released into the game because of the fact is I saw something I think on Twitter with regards to Fandango and Breezango actually being a team in WWE 2K Battlegrounds there. So check that out. I believe next one will be announced next week, but that's pretty cool. 6 new wrestlers for the game itself. Historic Superstar Spectacle showcases India's extraordinary in-ring competitors and culture. That was on the 26th, so Tuesday at 9:30 in the morning. The show was actually on. It was interesting. It was different. It obviously played to Republic Day over there in India. Match results were WWE Champion Drew McIntyre, Indus Sher overcame Jinder Mahal and the Bollywood Boys. Women's Tag Team Champion Charlotte Flair teamed with Serena Sandhu, to defeat Bayley and Natalya. NXT Champion Finn Balor conquered Guru Raj. AJ Styles survived Jeet Rama. Rey Mysterio, Ricochet, Giant Zanjeer, and Dilsher Shanky emerged victorious in an 8-man tag team match as well. So it was interesting. It's they played more up to the Republic Day in India and everything else, more so than they had done in the Saudi Arabia shows. This was, to me, it was a good show. It was interesting to see at 9:30 in the morning, knowing it was pre-taped, pre-recorded, so to speak. But the fact is, when it comes down to it, they played off a great show as far as the talent went, as far as making them look like huge superstars or future superstars, so to speak. Finn Balor in the opening match, that match that he had could have went either way. As a fan, you kind of believe that. Obviously, NXT champion's not going to get beat, but the fact is, when it comes down to it, it was a good showing there. So, congrats to them, the WWE, for putting this on. And like I said, if they continue to do it on a yearly basis, I think it'd be great. I know, besides obviously the Bollywood Boys, as well as Jinder Mahal, they've also got Daryl Sharma, known as the Hornet here in Ontario. He is of Indian descent as well. So it's a lot of ties to India as far as Republic Day goes. So if they do an annual event, I think it'd be cool, especially considering the fact that the huge fan base that they have over there. So I think it'd be interesting there. So we'll have to wait and see if it continues for next year. Update on the revival of Georgia Championship Wrestling. I'm going to go a little bit old school here. Now, I'm going to say this. I don't know too much about Georgia Championship Wrestling other than just hearing about it. But back in September, and this is courtesy of Post Wrestling there. So caught up with Chris Nelms, and the next Georgia Championship Wrestling show is scheduled for April 24th in Buckhead, Georgia. Talent announcements are currently being made on the Georgia Championship Wrestling Facebook page. Chris Nelms, that is, stated that they're hoping to run monthly events going forward at the venue in Buckhead and several more cities once venues become readily available. They are planning to crown a Georgia heavyweight champion by the way of a Royal Rumble style match. So that is pretty cool there. Nostalgia based, it's cool. It'll be interesting, but obviously with COVID-19 and everything else, they've got to play it by ear, so to speak. As far as the politics and the rules and regulations down there in the States go. But I know a lot of old school wrestling fans will probably be happy about that. The other one I always hear about is Florida Championship Wrestling. I don't know a lot about that either. You talk to me about Stampede Wrestling or Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling. I can talk to you about that, but Georgia Championship Wrestling, yeah, not so much. But I'll watch it if I get a chance, especially if it's on YouTube. And if not, I'll seek it out. But it's April. I think April date is what they had said. So it'll be interesting. And hopefully, COVID-19 is a little bit less of a sore, so to speak, by then. Young Rock official trailer, February 16th. That was released on the 26th. So the series is coming out February 16th. So it'll be interesting there. It goes different phases of the Rock all the way through to apparently him running for president in 2032. So it'll be interesting to catch that. But like I said, February 16th on NBC. Tommy Dreamer receives world title shot at No Surrender. So that was part of an angle that took place this past week on Impact Wrestling. Rich Swann came out, said he wanted to do a courtesy to Dreamer. He's celebrating his 50th birthday. And he wants to give him a shot. So that's been made official for No Surrender there. No Surrender obviously taking place, where are we? February 13th. I believe that is Tommy Dreamer's birthday. So, and that was the whole angle with him and Chris Bay on Impact, which I'll get into just momentarily here. Riho returning to AEW Women's Title Eliminator Tournament. That was announced on the 27th. She'll be facing Serena Deeb. So it'll be good to see her back and good to see Serena Deeb still part of AEW Wrestling there. Season number 2, episode number 2, Aliyah. I want to say Aliyah by Wild On. Wild On is Taylor Wilde's podcast there. So Aliyah's first interview in 6 years, which would be interesting there. I've actually got to interview one of her former tag team partners in Alexia Nicole. And, they 6 years and not doing an interview. That's insane. But check that out. That is up on Anchor as well as Spotify. And those two are aligned there. Bleacher Report presents AEW Dynamite Awards. That was on the 27th as well. So you can check out CWNonline.ca, or you can go and just go on YouTube there and check it out. So it was about 38 minutes of kind of a gimmick award style. The fans actually voted for them, and they had a good turnout. I think as far as fan support, I want to say 650,000. I don't want to say 65,000. I think it's 650,000, but they had a good support as far as the fan turnout goes. So check that out as far as the awards go. Like I said, it's about 35 minutes in length, so check that out. Yesterday was Bell Let's Talk Day 2021. Very important as far as mental health awareness goes. But it's a big day here in Canada, and it's not just a one-day event. You can make it a 365-day event and just support those that need help as far as mental health goes, especially right now during COVID-19. So that was yesterday there. Also yesterday, RJ City Wrestling Raconteur. Don't think I've ever heard that word before. Full documentary is up right now on YouTube. You can check out the link, CWNonline.ca. But if you're a fan of the Midnight Special RJ City, check that out. That was, like I said, released yesterday. Something else also getting released. John Cena announces his book, Be a Work in Progress, and other things I'd like to tell my younger self. That is going to be official, I think, if it's not already. Just let me bring up the article here. With regards to Mr. You Can't... Actually, the article goes, you can't read me. I was about to say you can't see me, but you can't read me. 16-time world champion John Cena announced Thursday morning on Twitter that his new book, Be a Work in Progress, and other things I'd like to tell my younger self will be available April 6, 2021. Cena wrote a book, which is kind of cool, but he's not wrestling as much. So what else you got to do? Let's write a book, Jimmy Fallon wrote a book. He's wrote a couple of books. I love Jimmy Fallon. So it'll be interesting to see the response that John Cena gets there. 2 watch along, so to speak, that have taken place. Charlotte, Bianca, Shotzi, and more WWE superstars react to 2020 Women's Royal Rumble match. That is on YouTube there, so you can kind of see their thoughts as the Royal Rumble's happening from last year. As well, it took place today as well with regards to the men's Royal Rumble. So Drew McIntyre and more WWE superstars react to the 2020 men's Royal Rumble match, WWE Playback, that took place earlier today. The link is not up on CWN Online yet, but it will be. But the women's link is... No, excuse me. So more news about WB 2K Battlegrounds there. Powerhouse finishing moves, WB 2K Battlegrounds top 10. That is up right now, cwnonline.ca, as well as YouTube. Paramount and WB Studios Rumble animated film delayed to 2022. So this is kind of sad news because, I mean, obviously it's COVID taking place, and just one more thing to add to that dreaded list of everything that got postponed. Paramount Pictures WB Studios animated film Rumble has been delayed again due to COVID-19 pandemic. Rumble is now scheduled to be released in theaters on Friday, February 18th, 2022. Film was originally expected to be released in the summer of 2020, and prior to this delay, had most recently been set to be released on May the 14th, 2021. Names involved: Will Arnett, Terry Crews, Geraldine Viswanathan, and the lead voice actors in Rumble. WB's Becky Lynch and Roman Reigns also voiced characters in the movie, along with Tony Danza, wow, there's a name from the past. Susan Kalechi Watson, Stephen A. Smith, Jimmy Tatro, Ben Schwartz, and Michael Buffer's in this too. And then all of a sudden there's a preview official trailer, which I believe I had posted once on cwnonline.ca, but the official name for that is Rumble. So guys, check that out. Check out the trailer at least, even though it's not being released until next year. But again, sad news because of obviously COVID-19. Disney Channel picks up Blue Demon Jr. superhero comedy series. I'll be looking for that because I get Disney Plus because of the toddler. So that'll be coming up sometime soon. Just let me get the official date on that there because I have the article in front of me as well. Disney Channel has picked up a series that features Lucha Libre star Blue Demon Jr. playing a version of himself. It was announced on Thursday that Disney Channel has given a series order to Ultraviolet and Blue Demon, a live action superhero comedy series starring Blue Demon Jr. and the Disney Channel's Scarlett Estevez. And it goes on to talk about it. No dates announced yet, but that'll show up on Disney. And if you're on Disney, you know you're doing something right there. So that's pretty cool there. WB Icons Yokozuna official trailer is out now. That takes place following the Royal Rumble. It's interesting because, when you get older in life, you don't necessarily realize that you're a huge fan of somebody until you start seeing kind of the footage, the matches, hearing about the stories, everything else. I had the honor of getting to see Yokozuna once in person when I was, like 19 years old at a house show in St. John, New Brunswick. And, it's obviously he was the major heel when I was a teenager, fighting the guys like The Undertaker and obviously Bret Hart and, Lex Luger, of course, those guys there. But I'm actually really looking forward to this one here. This one and probably the British Bulldog, Davey Boy Smith as well, the two I'm looking forward to the most. So it's going to be a long night on Sunday with the kickoff show and obviously the prediction show, the recap show, the Royal Rumble itself, and then Icons. But I'll make it work. I'll make it happen. Get some Red Bulls into me, and we'll be all good there. But that is taking place, like I said, Sunday after the Royal Rumble. WB Icons Yokozuna. Ultimate Royal Rumble comes to WB digital platforms this Sunday at 2 p.m. So obviously, with Royal Rumble taking place, there is a lot of shows as far as preludes, so to speak. So this was announced at WWE.com. Royal Rumble event is one of the most celebrated sports entertainment traditions of all time. Kicking off the road to WrestleMania as men and women battle in their respective 30 superstar melees for an opportunity to compete in the main event of the grandest stage of them all. As we anticipate two blockbuster Royal Rumble matches this Sunday, Matt Camp, Evan Mack, and Sam Roberts hit the whiteboard to construct the ultimate Royal Rumble, pitting WWE legends against today's most dominant superstars to determine who is the greatest competitor in the rich history of the over-the-top contest. So check that out. That's going to be this coming Sunday at 2 p.m. there, guys. So that, like I said, only one of the things taking place this coming weekend. Cauliflower Alley Club postpones reunion again. So that is unfortunate news. This was released courtesy of SlamWrestling.net there, but Greg Oliver actually wrote this one. For the third time, the Cauliflower Alley Club has been forced to cancel its annual reunion due to the COVID-19 pandemic. It's been scheduled for April 2021 at the Gulf Coast Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas. And then they go on to talk about a note from Brian Blair there. So due to COVID restrictions and for the safety and welfare of all, canceling the April reunion and have tentatively secured the dates of September 13th, 14th, and 15th, 2021 for their 55th reunion. So just another thing, another COVID-related aspect still taking place almost a year later. But the fact is, it's better to be safe than sorry when it comes down to it. So what else we got here? Alex Shelley. Let's talk about him. So article came out today with regards to what had happened at Impact Wrestling Hard to Kill. Alex Shelley explains why he missed Hard to Kill immediate future. It's courtesy of f4wonline.com. Alex Shelley's late scratch from the January 16th Impact Wrestling Hard to Kill pay-per-view came as a surprise as he was part of a high-profile main event teaming with Chris Sabin, Rich Swann against Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers. However, given travel restrictions for COVID-19, most assumed the virus had something to do with him pulling out of the event the day before the show, replaced by Moose. In a series of tweets Thursday, Shelley gave his side of the story past his initial statement of needing to err on the side of caution due to complex situation that he might be out of the company for some time. And I'll just read his opening statement here. So most days out of the week, I look like this. And it's basically just Alex Shelley looking like a normal dude. I read theories about why I wasn't at Impact Wrestling for Hard to Kill. They range from injury to illness to getting arrested to harming my family members and attempting to cover it up. I am a physical therapy clinician. Physio is my livelihood and career. Wrestling is my livelihood and passion project. At my company, due to the volume of sick and injured patients we are in the care of, we modify our COVID-19 mandates as needed. As numbers went up, so did the restrictiveness there. So Alex Shelley making a statement with regards to him missing Impact Wrestling's Hard to Kill. Obviously, he's got a life outside of the wrestling business. He goes on to talk about in the tweets with regards to not having a contract, but not wanting a contract at this point of time either. Here's a guy who's been in the wrestling business for a while. And when I say a while, I think the first time I ever got to see him live, I think was about 15, 16 years ago. He's always been, at Chris Sabin's side, so to speak. But the fact is, he was gifted back then. He's still gifted today, but he's a different human being. He's got a career, he's got a life, and wrestling is just kind of that side project where he still loves and he's still passionate about. And the same thing with Sabin as well. But good for him for you making that statement. Good for him for coming out and saying, look, I have a life. I'm keeping people safe, and that is why I missed the pay-per-view. So that being said, thoughts and prayers with him to get back into the wrestling business sometime soon. Obviously, Sabin's still doing his thing as far as Impact Wrestling goes, but with regards to Alex Shelley, good for him, for doing the right thing as far as the pandemic goes there. Meiko Satomura, Tony Gill, Medahan, Koka Bass Oglu, and Bailey Matthews. Sorry about that one name, announced as the latest NXT UK signings there. So I'm going to get into this because it's kind of interesting with regards to one of the names here. So this was released WWE.com today, actually. WWE.com announced the latest signings at NXT UK, including Meiko Satomura, Tony Gill, Medahan Kokabazoglu, I don't know if I pronounced it the same way twice, of Germany, and Bailey Matthews of Blackpool, England. So interesting, that name, Blackpool, England there. So it goes on to talk about the latest additions there. But with regards to Bailey Matthews, Blackpool, England, ready to roar onto the scene and represent his hometown of Blackpool, England, Bailey Matthews is set to bring a unique style to NXT UK, inspired by the likes of Johnny Saint, Billy Robinson, and NXT general manager William Regal. So the reason I bring up that article there, number one, because it's, new signings for the WB. But number two is that last name I mentioned, Bailey Matthews, is the real life legitimate son of the one and only William Regal. So William Regal's boy into the business there. So it'll be interesting to see if he's the same kind of toughness as Regal, if he's a high flyer. I don't know too much about him at all, other than just reading what I just wrote. Just reading what I just I mentioned on the air here. But the fact is, when it comes down to it, I'm interested to see what kind of style he's going to have. Penta L0M cleared to return to AEW after visa issue is resolved. So this I saw right before I went on the air there. F4WOnline.com. Probably have the article up on CWNonline.ca later. In this week's Wrestling Observer newsletter, Dave Meltzer reported that Penta L0M is cleared to return to action AEW, but needs to resolve a visa issue first. Meltzer said that Penta was injured for a while in 2020, but didn't go into details as what the injury was. Character's last appearance was on January 20th, Dynamite, being injured backstage by Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers. However, Meltzer said it wasn't the real Penta that was being attacked. Meltzer said that Penta is sorting out a visa issue and will be back once it's resolved. So that is what is going on with Penta right now. That is why you see Phoenix wrestling on his own, and that is why you've seen Penta not cutting any promos or any kind of close-up face shots with regards to the character there. But can't wait to see him back, because I love the Lucha Brothers. And Penta is one of my favorites as far as singles wrestlers go as well. Post interview up with Jimmy Corderas from Aftermath TV. That is on postwrestling.com. So guys, check that out. If you like Canadian content there, obviously you do if you're watching the show. A new beginning in Nagoya preview. So this is New Japan Pro Wrestling, which is close to my heart, obviously. If you've ever heard of me talking about New Japan Pro Wrestling, Dolphins Arena sees the New Beginning Tour hit Nagoya on January 30th with major singles matches atop an exciting card of action. So main event, never openweight championship match, Shingo Takagi taking out Hiroshi Tanahashi. We've also got no disqualification match, Will Ospreay taking on Satoshi Kojima. That should be interesting there. We've got Hiroshi Tenzan taking on the Great Okan. If you see the picture that's online of the two of these guys, they look like a video game beast, so to speak, but they'll be interesting there. And with regards to Hiroshi Tenzan and the Great Okan, the loser must retire the Mongolian chop. Then we got Kota Ibushi, Tomohaki Hanma, Sho, and Master Wato taking on LIJ. Los Ingobernables. I didn't pronounce it too bad that time. Did Japan, Sanada, Tetsuya Naito, Shingo Takagi, and Bushi. Hold on, Shingo Takagi. Why is his name in there? It shouldn't be. Yeah, so you get Sanada in the picture, Tetsuya Naito in the picture. Shingo, no, it's Hiroshi Tanahashi, which is Hiroshi Takahashi, who's Hiromu. Jeez, I'm messing up my names. Hiromu Takahashi is in the picture, but they've got Shingo Takagi's name listed. Okay, obviously Shingo's not pulling double duty there. And anyways, another match, Chaos, Kazuchika Okada, Toru Yano taking on Bullet Club, so Evil and Yujiro Takahashi there. So guys, check that out. That'll be 3:30 in the morning tomorrow. If you have New Japan Pro Wrestling World, my subscription is about to expire. I'm not sure if we're going to renew, so that might be the last event I watch on New Japan Pro Wrestling World. But that is 3:30 in the morning tomorrow if you're up that late or up that early, so to speak. So check that out. And finally, like I had mentioned with regards to WWE, and I'll talk about it a little bit more on Sunday with regards to the preview shows here. But WWE, the Bump, Watch Along, kickoff show, and more slated for Royal Rumble Sunday. Graphics kind of cool. So you got Hulk Hogan, Daniel Bryan, Goldberg, the Bella Twins, Rikishi, Diamond Dallas Page, and then Tegan Knox in the picture there. But Royal Rumble matches, the last decade stream. You got the Ultimate Royal Rumble. You got Spanish Royal Rumble pre-show, special Royal Rumble edition of WWE's Bump. Royal Rumble kickoff show and the WWE watch along. So that is all taking place this weekend. Beyond WWE Backstage taking place tomorrow. So guys, a lot of Royal Rumble stuff, a lot of WWE stuff related. And obviously, hopefully you're going to be watching the Royal Rumble too. So it's a lot of footage that's going to be on TV there. Highlights for the week as far as TV goes. Flair, Baszler went to a no contest this past Monday, and Baszler, Jackson, Evans defeated Flair, Rose, and Dana Brooke. The insanity of that match was the fact that referee made the call to count out. I think the faces had to be counting out the heels, and then they had to restart the match. So it's one of those things that it's like, is the referee allowed to make that decision, or is he not allowed to make this decision? Does he have to go by script if the wrestler's being lazy, or so be it? But it looks sloppy as far as the opening match goes there on Raw. I'll talk about it maybe not today, but sometime later. Maybe I'll have segments where I can talk about individual things that shouldn't be happening in wrestling, but we'll have to wait and see. Xavier Woods defeats Slapjack. Sheamus defeats Morrison. Miz and Morrison defeats Sheamus in a handicap match. We got AJ Styles defeating R-Truth in a non-title match. Riddle defeats Benjamin, MVP, and Alexander in a gauntlet for the U.S. title opportunity there. Nothing's been announced as far as the United States Championship for Royal Rumble goes, so I don't know when that's going to take place. Asuka and Bliss went to a no contest in a women's title match, thanks to Randy Orton coming out, RKO, and Alexa Bliss. AEW Dark highlights 15 matches and a walk-off, over 2 hours of content, I believe. So check that out if you want some more AEW in your life. Impact highlights, Cardona and Josh Alexander defeats Ace Austin, Madman Fulton. Brian Myers defeats Eddie Edwards by DQ. Edwards actually went nuts in the mats, ended up biting off part of Myers' face, so to speak. Referee disqualified him, but new side of Eddie Edwards there, so we'll have to wait and see where they go with this. It's also kind of cool to see backstage Brian Myers and Matt Cardona there, as far as I don't know if I'm going to post that comment or not. We'll see. I'll get through this segment here. Where are we here? Yeah, so Myers and Cardona had a segment backstage where all of a sudden Myers kind of blew off Cardona. So it's kind of interesting to see where they're going to go with this. Rosemary defeats Dashwood. Fire and Flavor Fest was a nightmare. We're not going to talk about that. Joe Doring defeats Cousin Jake. I can see Cousin Jake ended up being, joining Cody Deaner and them. It's going to be interesting there. So the next couple of weeks, Swan, Dreamer, Mac, and the returning Trey Miguel defeat Moose, Sami Callihan, Shamrock, and Chris Bay in the main event there. So Trey Miguel back with Impact Wrestling. ROH highlights, Josh the Goods Woods defeats Dalton Castle. Shane Taylor Promotions in the main event. So that is Shane Taylor as well as SOS. Con and Moses defeats the Foundation. And that was Lethal, Gresham, as well as Williams there. MLW highlights, AAA Cruiserweight Championship match. Laredo Kid defeats Zenshi, Buku Deo. And TJP defeats Violence is Forever, which is Kevin Koo and Dominic Garini, a number one contenders match for the tag titles. Caribbean strap match, Caribbean Heavyweight Championship. Richard Holiday defeats Savio Vega to become the real champion, so to speak. Dynamite, where are we here? Kingston defeats Archer. Moxley promo. I actually watched this, so you'll hear me talking about the promos there. Sting, Darby Allin promo, not backstage, but they're kind of in an alley, so it's interesting to see where they're going to go with this. Jericho MGF defeat the Varsity Blondes. Jericho hit one of the best moonsaults in the entire world. Obviously, to basically, because he screwed up. He didn't necessarily screw up, but last week he didn't hit the best moonsault. And obviously, because there's a lot of traffic going on. And this week, he made sure to hit it and look like a superstar when he hit it. So that was interesting there. We have a Shaq promo, sorry. So he's basically ripping into Cody, saying that Cody's blonde hair makes him look like a little girl. So it'll be interesting to see what actually happens in the match coming up. Then we have a Cody, Arn Anderson, Red Velvet promo in the ring, which was great. We have Hangman Page defeating Ryan Nemeth, who is actually the brother of Dolph Ziggler, so Nick Nemeth. Then we have a Page Hardy promo where all of a sudden Hardy's trying to recruit Adam Page, but obviously Page being the lone wolf saying, forget about nothing, nothing's going on there. Jungle Boy defeats Dax Hardwood. Jungle Boy gets a huge win here. I cannot get that theme song out of my head. It's going to, and somebody mentioned this on a podcast yesterday. It's like when COVID's done and they can have full arenas again and that theme song plays, you're going to be having fans sing that theme song as he's coming out. And then they made the note as well. They're like, you know what? Not only are they going to sing that theme song when they come out, they're going to be singing that theme song as the match is taking place. And if you remember Fandango, and it was probably like 6-7 years ago, and all of a sudden they do the do, that sort of thing. Well, I can see this exact same thing happen for Jungle Boy there. So it'll be interesting to see when fans are back in the arenas, what actually happens there. After the match, FTR Blanchard destroyed Jurassic Express, including cutting off the horns of Luchasaurus. Then we go into Team Taz promo. Dr. Baker defeats Shauna. MJF, Sammy promo. Obviously, MJF and Sammy are going to come into blows eventually, just a matter of time. But I can't wait to see that match. And then the main event, Good Brothers and the Young Bucks defeat Dark Order. Dark Order was Evil Uno, Stu Grayson, John Silver, Alex Reynolds. I think I got their names right this time. And then Omega and Moxley battle to end the show there. Next week on Dynamite, it's obviously Beach Break and main events, Kenny Omega and the Impact Wrestling World Tag Team Champions, the Good Brothers, with Don Callis in the corner, is going to be battling John Moxley, Pac, and Ray Phoenix. NXT highlights, MSK defeats Dane and Maverick in the Dusty Cup quarterfinals. Dakota Kai Renee, sorry, I want to say Renee, but it's Raquel Gonzalez defeats Aliyah and Jessie Kamea. Dusty Cup first round. Tyler Russ defeats Dante Rios. And it was interesting because I had AEW on the big screen TV there. I had NXT on the tablet, and I looked down. I'm like, why does that guy look familiar? And I'm talking about Dante Rios. And unfortunately, I was trying to rewind, and the stupid tablet was screwing up, so I didn't have the opportunity to be able to do it. I go on social media, and sure enough, yes, it was. So Daniel Garcia is the one and only, what I call him, Dante Rios. So yeah, Ontario Independent, obviously Buffalo's own Daniel Garcia. It didn't look too good as far as the showing goes, but he was on national TV once again. So good for him. Red Death down there in Florida. Good showing for obviously Daniel Garcia. Trying to get him on for an interview. I've messaged him, nothing back yet. So hopefully I'll be able to get an interview with Daniel Garcia sometime soon. But the fact is, yeah, he was on NXT this past week. So pretty cool. Grizzled Young Veterans defeats Kushida and Leon Ruff. Dusty Cup quarterfinals as well. Bronson Reed defeats Swerve, and then Finn Balor and Kyle O'Reilly defeats Lorcan and Birch. And it's interesting to see Undisputed Era without Bobby Fish sitting there in the ring with the one and only Finn Balor. And it'd be interesting to see what happens, because Adam Cole didn't look too happy, but the fact is, it is what it is. And then NXT UK highlights: Trent Seven, Jordan Devlin promo. And it's interesting because there's a lot of talk right now of Jordan Devlin finally coming over to the States to face Santos Escobar to unite those titles there. So we'll have to wait and see in the next couple of weeks. I think it'd be cool if they did it at WrestleMania, but that is April, and we're only in January. But time flies, right? Ben Carter defeats Sam Gradwell. Shaw Samuels defeats Josh Morrow. Pretty Deadly defeats Mark Andrews and Flash Morgan Webster. Ashton Smith and Oliver Carter and The Hunt to become NXT UK tag team opportunity. It looks like number one contenders there, but I am 49 minutes in according to Countdown here, so I'm going to rush through the rest before I get into independent wrestling, because there's a few things I want to talk about. But ratings of the week. So Raw ratings, 1.819 million people ended up tuning into Raw, 0.52 in the 18 to 49 demo. First for the night down in the States. And then in Canada here, we had 300,000 viewers. Impact Wrestling, 186,000 viewers, 0.05 in the 18 to 49 demo, which put them 118th for the night down there in the States. But it is good to see Impact ratings coming out on a weekly basis there. AEW, 734, so 0.29 in 1849 demo, 6th for the night. The interesting thing about this is NXT was so close. So NXT scored 720 for the 2 hours, 0.21 in the 18 to 49 demo. So they're getting closer there, but they were 24th for the night. So Impact Wrestling is not Impact, but NXT, AEW, that war is starting to heat up again. Obviously, we'd like to see the viewership up to close to 1 million people, but it's not happening. But again, that's a tighter race. We're talking 14,000 fans and pretty close in the demos there as well. SmackDown preview for tonight: Roman Reigns, Kevin Owens will engage in a war of words. And then Bianca Belair and Bayley are going to be in a match there. 205 Live preview: Jake Atlas versus August Gray. And then we got Ember Moon, Shotzi Blackheart taking on Marina Shafir and Zoe Stark in the Dusty Cup. And then New Japan Strong preview, main event: Leo Rush, TJP, and Fred Rosser taking on the Bullet Club. And that is ELP, Hikuleo, and Kenta. So that's if you're interested in New Japan Pro Wrestling, 10 p.m. tonight on New Japan Pro Wrestling World, of course. MMA, UFC 257. It's almost been a week, but big news was Poirier versus McGregor 2, and McGregor got his butt handed to him, and a lot of people wondering where he's going to go from here. So I think he's going to lick his wounds, and then basically they'll set up maybe a fight that's going to be easy for him to win. And then once that happens, they'll set up another super fight for McGregor. But it's tough to see him getting beat TKO style second round against Dustin Poirier. So guys, check that out. Dana White was all over the illegal streamers. I don't know if it actually, if anything came of it. I didn't see any news or anything like that. But Dustin Poirier, like I said, put a beating on the one and only notorious Conor McGregor there. So DC and Hawane, January 25th episode. Check that out. CWNonline.ca as well as YouTube. Report: UFC 257 does 1.6 million pay-per-view buys. More ABC shows coming. So it's a good, strong showing for them. UFC 257 prelims, top Saturday cable ratings. This is obviously, as far as ESPN goes, nothing to do with here in Canada, but still good news. Saturday's UFC 257 prelims, which aired on ESPN prior to the pay-per-view, averaged 1.433 million viewers. Prelims drew a 0.54 rating in the 18 to 49 demo, which topped all of cable television in that category. It also beat everything on network television for the day, with the exception of ABC's World News Tonight. So pretty cool news there for UFC and how well they're doing as far as cable goes. And guys, that is it as far as the news of the week for wrestling as well as MMA. So get a little bit of water into me, and I'll come back and talk about Canadian Independent Wrestling, and I'll do a promo here from the one and only Ryan Knights of the Squared Circle. So check this out, and I'll be back in a couple moments, guys.
Are you a pro wrestling fan? Do you want the latest info on shows and the stars that appear throughout Ontario? Are you looking for information and insight into the independent wrestling scene? Want interviews and information on the big leagues? Then you want Knights of the Squared Circle with Ryan Knight on Coyote 103. Ryan has his finger on the pulse of wrestling in Ontario on every level, and he brings that to you every Sunday at noon. Listen for your wrestling fix with Ryan Knight and Knights of the Squared Circle, Sunday at noon, only on Coyote 103.
There you have it, guys. Ryan Knight, Knights of the Square Circle. Check him out, like the promo had stated, Sundays at noon on Coyote 103. You can find the links up at CWNonline.ca as well as the Canadian Independent Wrestling Group. Ryan's a good guy, and he's a fellow podcaster. And in saying that, I'm gonna put it out there to people here in Canada. As far as podcasters go, number one, if you want to have your promos aired here on the show, just to get a little more viewership, let me know. You can hit me up, feedback at cwnonline.ca, and that's the email address there, or Chris at cwnonline.ca. And just like Ryan had done, like a 30-second clip, basically, a good logo behind it as well, what your show is about. Basically when people can find it, where people can find it, what social media platforms you're on as well. But Canadian Independent Wrestling podcasters or anybody with a weekly series, hit us up, feedback at cwnonline.ca, or like I said, it's Chris at cwnonline.ca, and I'll start playing your promos here on the show, as long as the music or whatever voice is behind it isn't copyrighted, because the fact is I've got kicked off of YouTube, I think once last year, because I played a small clip and got burned by YouTube, and now I understand a little bit more as far as the YouTube and all that goes. But send me a clip, and we'll go from there. As well as I'll have a little bit more news at the end of the show here with regards to what I want to do as far as independent wrestling podcasters go. So wait for that in the next couple of minutes. But in saying that, hashtag we are CIW. That's a hashtag I use as far as Canadian Independent Wrestling goes. The website, simply CanadianIndependentWrestling.ca, that forwards you to the Facebook group. And basically, like I said, with regards to the Facebook group, it's there for promoting your shows. It's there for promoting your gimmick. Any kind of YouTube series you've got, any kind of interviews as a podcaster you got going on, just keep it clean. That's all I ask. But, it's the platform there to be able to promote whatever you got going on as far as Canadian Independent Wrestling goes. And this guy surprised me, because I haven't been able to do this in almost a year as far as shows go, but there are 2 shows coming up. And, it's I'm so used to having a rundown of like 10 to 15 shows happening every single weekend. Not anymore. So I've been kind of shifting gears as far as Canadian Independent Wrestling goes. But New Evolution Wrestling presents New Year's Evolution Night 1, taking place today, 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is what they've got listed in St. John's, Newfoundland. And that is taking place at the CLB Armory, 2 nights, by the way. So night 1 today, night 2 tomorrow. And when I say nights, it's actually afternoons. But night 1 is today, 4:30 in the afternoon. Night 2 is tomorrow, 1:30 in the afternoon, CLB Armory for both. And this is what they've said as far as Facebook goes. New wrestling fans, so new Evolution Wrestling. We're ringing in 2021 with a bang, a brand new extravaganza as New Evolution Wrestling presents New Year's Evolution. Special 2-day event will take place on January 29th and 30th, the CLB Armory in St. John's. Don't miss your chance to kick off your new year with your number one source for professional wrestling, as many of your favorite new stars will be in action. On hand will be the current new heavyweight champion Hellraiser Justin Locke, a new provincial champion Wild Thing Tony King. That's a good name. Steel Panther, Cameron Stevens, Jeremiah Javen, and so much more. January 29th, doors open 6 p.m., bell time 7. January 30th, doors open 3 p.m., bell time at 4. So I'm not sure where they got that 1:30 goes, but more information, you can check that out. New Evolution Wrestling on Facebook. Just type that in. Event ticket pricing: 4-person bubble, 4 tickets, $60 per show. Individual tickets, $20 per show. All tickets, $25 at the door. No outside food or beverages permitted. And then they go on to say, due to COVID-19 restrictions, both of these events will be limited to just 80 people per events. Other COVID-19 restrictions, performers will be available for autographs when the doors open 1 hour prior to the start of the show for each event. Excuse me. No personal photos with performers due to COVID-19 distancing regulations. No intermission. Masks are mandatory and may only be removed when seated in your seat bubbles. And then get your tickets at Game Exchange there in St. John's, Newfoundland. So, guys, very good news. Very cool to actually be talking about independent wrestling happening once again here in Canada. So the 29th, which is today, the 30th, which is tomorrow, night 1, night 2, New Evolution Wrestling presents New Year's Evolution. And it's nice to see it actually coming back a little bit. I mean, obviously, we got a long ways to go as far as COVID-19 goes, but it makes me kind of get excited about wrestling happening here in Ontario once again, and if it's towards the end of the year, I'm okay with that. It's just a matter of staying safe and, being patient and perseverance, everything that goes along with that. So obviously with what I've been doing lately, I've been listening with regards to what's going on with YouTube and Canadian Independent Wrestling goes. So Spencer Love interviews Steve Rivers that took place on the 25th. This is all YouTube, by the way. Big Ben and Friends Wrestling with myself swap cast, which was Big Ben Ortmans, and it's episode number 25 with the hacker Scotty O'Shea and Puff. So that was on the 25th as well. Vidcast number 34 featuring Jocks Sampson. That was done by the one and only George Mackay of Straight Talk Wrestling. That was yesterday on the 28th. Episode number 76, Ben Hammond and Joe Pimentel. Holden Albright versus Alexia Nicole. That took place for Bordertown Pro Wrestling yesterday on the 28th. New Evolved on Rogers TV, who we just talked about there. Episode number 93, Danny Duggan, Hotshot Danny Duggan of Canadian Wrestling's Elite versus Justin Locke. And then they say Ginge Duke's Dogs tag title. I'm not sure what that means. Just getting used to New Evolution Wrestling there. That was on the 20th as well. So yesterday, MPW Into the Layer, episode 11, Buckshot Bobby Break. Another cool name, Buckshot Bobby Break, taking on Stu Cruel yesterday as well. Free match, Benjamin Tall taking on the Beast FTM, Just for Laughs 2019. That was by FLQ Wrestling. That was put out there today. Spencer Love interviews Shaw Guerrero. Yes, the one and only daughter of Eddie Guerrero and Vicky Guerrero. That was released today on YouTube. Episode 81, Intergender Tag, Hardcore Housewives versus Shane Saber and Young Miles. That was released today by Courage Pro Wrestling, CPW on YouTube, of course. And then finally, Victory Roll. It's just a cool name to say, Victory Roll. Bringing it back. So Tyson Dukes has been doing moves of the day, so to speak, and presenting those on YouTube. And poor Rodney Matthews with some of those there. But Tyson Dukes today was the Victory Roll, so you can check that out as well. Also proud, and you heard me talking about this last week. I'll talk about it again. Today, slugging with Stephen O'Neill. He's doing so. Stephen O'Neill, obviously, who I've had the pleasure to work with on podcasts, as well as fantasy warfare tournaments, as well as we bickered back and forth, so to speak. But he started writing a column for CWNonline.ca last week. And we came up with the name Slugging with Stephen O'Neill. Last week, he had an interview with the one and only Anthony Kingdom James. This week, he's going to interview with the one and only Jim Strider. So check that out, CWNonline.ca. If you go to the exclusive section at the very top, you can find the link for Slugging with Stephen O'Neill, as well as the main page. You can check that out. It's under hashtag CWN Online. But yeah, Slugging with Stephen O'Neill, I'm enjoying it. He's got another one coming up on next Tuesday. So we've been releasing these Tuesdays. at 6 p.m. on the website there. So I look for the next one, obviously next Tuesday, 6 p.m. on the website. And man, I'm cold all of a sudden. I don't get it. I've got a fan on me the entire show, but I don't know what it was. I'd bring the sleeves of the sweater down, but yeah, it's cold. I don't know if it got colder outside or what, but anyways, CanadianIndependentWrestling.ca, guys, that is the best way to be able to reach anything Canadian independent wrestling based. And like I said, hashtag we are CIW. So I've got a thought in mind with regards to what I'd like to do as far as podcasters go here in Canada. I want to make a kind of a group series, so to speak, about once a month. So if you're listening to this, if you catch wind of it, so to speak, hit me up at chris@cwnonline.ca and let me know that you're interested. Basically, I want to get a group of podcasters together once a month, so to speak, to talk about big topics taking place in the wrestling world, big topics taking place here in Canada, do prediction shows or recap shows, whatever the case may be. I've reached out to quite a few and I've got great responses coming back from a good 90% of the podcasters I've reached out to. Still waiting on some of them to get back to me. But if you're interested, if you're a podcaster here in Canada, let me know, chris@cwnonline.ca, and let me know that you're interested. I'll give you all the details from there. But looking to probably start up if not March, but definitely April there. So that is what I want to do there, guys. So CWN Weekly episode number 24, almost in the books. Last little bit of news I'll talk about here. Top 10 WB Royal Rumble events of all time have taken place January 22nd through this coming Sunday on the website. Number 3 is today. So that's it's going to launch on the website 5 p.m. today. You can check out my number 3 ever Royal Rumble as far as my picks. And it's hard to believe because that means we're only 2 days away from the Royal Rumble itself. So looking forward to it on Sunday there. As far as scheduling goes, CWN predicts WB Royal Rumble 2021 taking place January 31st, obviously Sunday, 3 p.m. live, Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. So it'll be a live show this coming Sunday with me, possibly another guest as well, but definitely be me for sure. CWN recap, WB Royal Rumble 2021, January 31st. It's either going to be 10 p.m.-ish or 11 p.m.-ish. They've got it listed, Royal Rumble going to 10 p.m., which means they've got 3 hours to get through 2 Royal Rumbles and I think 2 or 3 matches. So I'm going to say more towards 11 p.m.-ish. But as soon as Royal Rumble is off the air, you will see me jump online about 15 to 20 minutes later to talk about the Royal Rumble itself, my thoughts, the recap, the highlights, as well as the results there. So I'll be live on Facebook, Twitch, as well as YouTube as well. CWN Weekly, episode number 25, February the 5th, 3 p.m. So next Friday live, Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. So check that out for the very next episode of CWN Weekly, episode number 25. Quarter of a century, geez. And here I thought back in, I think it was August or whatever, it's like, how am I going to get through this? But I didn't mean that in a bad way. I just meant, it was interesting to kind of build a podcast off of the brand that I already have with CWN. But 25 episodes later, looking forward to it. Maybe I'll have to do some new videos or theme music or whatever the case may be. And man, I'm still cold. I'm going to jump off the air and turn that fan off. But in saying that, if you're a fan of CWN, you will have seen CWN Weekly pop up on social media. And it's basically Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, as well as YouTube. So it's a separate account for CWN Weekly. I'm just building a following right now. Once the following is up, you will see me switch channels. So you will see the videos pop up on, on YouTube, obviously, Facebook, and this and that. But when I do my live stream, it will be through CWN Weekly specifically. So I'll have more information about that on the website when it is up and running, as well as the social media accounts. But like I said, you'll see the feed from CWN Weekly switch from here on the CWN main account over to CWN Weekly. But stay tuned. It is in the works, but like I said, I want to get more of a following before I do that there. So guys, that is it for episode number 24. And like I said, as always, hit me up, feedback at cwnonline.ca for any thoughts, suggestions, comments, what you're looking forward to as far as the Royal Rumble goes. And, like I said, feedback at cwnonline.ca or chris@cwnonline.ca, the best way to reach me there. As well, Chris Maloney, CWN, social media. So that is Reddit as well as Twitter. Twitch, as well as Instagram. That is my personal account as far as wrestling goes. So you can hit me up at Chris Maloney CWN there. And guys, it's been a fun, enjoyable show, and I'm looking forward to this Sunday. So in saying that, check out CWN Predicts this coming Sunday, 3 p.m. live, Facebook, Twitch, as well as YouTube. And then the recap show will be that night as well. And if I don't see you then, check me out next week, episode number 25, quarter of a century of CWN Weekly, taking place live next Friday, 3 p.m. as well. I kind of like that 3 p.m. mark. So I think it's going to be a thing as far as the shows go. And now I'm just rambling, so I'm going to get off the air. But guys, thanks a lot for watching and listening. Hit the like, subscribe button, and that is it. So I'll see everybody this coming Sunday, or I'll see everybody next Friday. So enjoy your week, guys, and take care, and I'll talk to you soon.